I wanted to quickly talk about purpose, life purpose. How do you find your life purpose? Where do you begin? What are you supposed to do? And all of that stuff. All right, so, well, you find your purpose by working on yourself first. All right. You gotta understand that before you know what you're supposed to work with your purpose in life, before you can even find your purpose, before you can even find what you're supposed to do in life, your destiny and so forth, you create. First off, I believe in creating your own destiny. All right, but you're born with natural talents, of course. But the thing is, you got to work on yourself. Otherwise, you'll never discover your true purpose. And before you know what to work on in life, you need to work on yourself first. You need to work on yourself first, or else you don't know what you want to work with in life. All right? Because when you fix yourself, when you can take care of yourself without, when you own yourself totally. That's why we build from the core and outwards, all right? We own ourselves first, then we teach others the skills or tools necessary to survive in life, all right? But before you do this, you gotta understand that it takes a lot, all right? And it takes some time and so forth, all right? Perhaps you already know what your passion is, all right? So let's say you already, all right, so there are two types of people. Those who have to work with this more intensely, and then there are those who already realize this, but those are few people. I see even high executives and everyone else with terrible diet and so forth. I have no idea how, no wonder they become stuck, all right? No wonder they can't continue and build, all right? Because you gotta build when your foundation is terrible. When your foundation is terrible, everything else will falter, all right? When your foundation is great, everything else will become great, all right? When the core is light and great and radiates, that's when everything works. That's when everything works. So, how do I find my purpose? How do you find your purpose in life? Well, people mean different things when they say purpose. I'll just assume that people mean passion. They want to change their careers. So essentially, how do I make my hobby into a business, or how do I make my hobby into a job and so forth? All right, so, well, like I said, unless you have worked on yourself, you don't know who you want to help and how to help them, because essentially having a business means solving people's problems, all right? Essentially, having a business means solving people's problems. So how can you take your hobby and solve a person's problem? All right, let's say you want to be a photographer. A lot of people want to be photographers. They're creative, highly creative people. All right, I understand this because I am myself a highly creative person, and I'm not multiple people, but all right, so almost said people there. All right, so how do I change my current career into something else? Well, that's the second foundation, because you got to learn the first tools. You got to learn the first foundation before you can go to the next foundation. The next foundation means that you already have your diet, sleep, exercise, and meditation set, all right? You have all these things set. Now you need to work on habits and time management and creating better habits. All these routines, you've acquired all these skills, but you have no idea how to, you know, design and implement everything so that it works smoothly, that it works like water, you know, so that it works smoothly. You got to work on this, but you got to first work on yourself, like I said. But let's say you've already got these things down, all right? You've already found your diet, the diet that works for you, that doesn't keep you lethargic, sleepy in the day, that makes you energized, that makes you think, that makes you create better stuff, create life, you know? All right, so once you have this core, once you have your core down, all right, once you have your core down, you work on your habits and time management, and that's basically it. You put all those things into a routine, your morning routine, nightly routine, daily routines, and so forth. And you got to know what to work on. You understand what you're working on, the most immediate thing you need, and so forth, but also the short-term plan and long-term plan and so forth. All right, but so yeah, you use this. You use the skills before this. So the first foundation, the second foundation. So you gotta understand that to be able to find your purpose, right? These two foundations are connected because you want to find your purpose, all right? But your purpose means you gotta realize that you want to help people and create a business solving people's problems, all right? But you can't do that unless you worked on yourself. All right, so they're deeply connected. The reason why you need to work on yourself first is that, and the way purpose and habit and everything is connected is that when you work, all of this works simultaneously. So when you work on yourself, you simultaneously try to find all these habitual solutions. You break your patterns and so forth. You know, you break the way you eat, you break the way you exercise. Actually, by doing exercise, a lot of people don't do any exercise at all, and so forth, you know, and meditation. You introduce stuff that you haven't had before in your life. This is new stuff. You're redesigning your life, all right? And as you move along here, you realize that you need a structure in your life because you're self-parenting yourself, you're parenting yourself, you're fixing yourself, all right? Most people don't know how to parent themselves, let alone parent their kids. All right, so you got to work on yourself first. That's why you need this foundation first. All right, so the second way and the second foundation is to, you know, like I said, habit and time management. All right, so now we understand why habit and working on yourself are connected. All right, so you got diet and everything down. You want to turn your passion into work. All right, so how do you do this? Well, like I said earlier, you got to solve problems, you got to solve people's problems. That is what business is, all right? You got to add value to people and so forth, all right? So for example, if you want to be a photographer, you can't simply just dream up stuff, all right? So you got to understand the mindset of a business person solving people's problems, all right? People think only from themselves and, you know, judge others and then move it inwards, the information. But like I've said before, the new mindset, the new paradigm you need is you got to work from the core outwards. You got to love yourself, you got to love everything you do, and then teach others and so forth. Because you can't do that before you realize that, all right? It's like jumping way ahead in life. So you got everything down: diet, exercise, sleep, and so forth, all right? Perhaps you've watched my videos and so forth. All right, but the thing is, how do you move away from your job? So you gotta have the business mindset first. All right, but you gotta have the mindset as you move along. So the practical becomes theoretical, the theoretical becomes practical, and so forth. All right. I think of the theoretics. You don't have to think about theory. All right. All right. So you continue like this, and so forth. So you want to be a photographer, let's say. And so you can't just think of the creative. You can't just think of use your knowledge, use your strength. I'll assume that you have a talent for aesthetics, all right? For seeing forms, colors, and so forth, all right? I'll just assume everything. But you can't use your depression. You can't use your, all right? People don't want depressing images, all right? I understand that a lot of people like those, you know, or black and white images and so forth, all right? People don't want that. So you gotta sacrifice here. You gotta work with something that sacrifices yourself. Do you understand me here? That you gotta remove yourself, detach yourself. You gotta be able to actually commit the biggest sin in art, especially with today's mindset. And that is, well, it didn't used to be like this, because back in the day, Leonardo da Vinci and all those people, they actually created art not just based on their own inner desire, you know, but actually ordered from all these paintings were ordered by all these royal people, all right? But we have moved away from this now. Perhaps we'll have to return to some kind of, you know, but all right, so that's philosophy. You don't have to think about that specific thought, but I just want to share my immediate thought here. All right, you're getting everything. But the thing is, you gotta sacrifice, all right? You can't only take photos for yourself. You can do that, but you also have to, for example, do wedding photography, all right? You gotta do wedding photography and whatever works, all right? You gotta do whatever works. You gotta be able to sacrifice. You gotta take the work that is needed for you to survive on this job and solve people's problems, for example. So the problem is, all right, they have a wedding, people have a wedding, they have no one to shoot photographs and take them properly because, you know, every family member wants to join in, you know, they want to celebrate, all right? You'll be the professional. They don't have to even think about all this stuff. You do the work, you know? So you become this professional photographer. You need to sacrifice so that you can become a person in service for others, you know? You got to be in service for others, or else this is not going to work, all right? Or else this is not going to work. So you got to have the mindset of sacrificing yourself. You got to be in service to others. You got to be willing to sacrifice your art to move on, all right? And some people are willing to do this, you know? They love photography, but no, it's not like they have to make these inner wisdom pictures, all these, you know, all the inner feeling they want to express and so forth. I mean, you can of course always ask the client, your customer, client, or whatever it is, you can always ask them what they need and what they want, you know, or you should actually, they should choose whatever it is. So you got to sacrifice some part of you, all right? But that's what life is. I've sacrificed a lot to get here. You have no idea what I've sacrificed to get here, all right? I've sacrificed everything, all right? I've sacrificed everything for you to become my children. All right, so I've sacrificed everything for you. Once you realize this, once you realize that you have to sacrifice and become a, you know, you have to become a serviceman or servicewoman, obviously. All right, so now you understand the mindset, then you know that what to do, you know. You just need to research whatever you need to research. If you don't know how to take photographs in a professional, proper way, you can always learn by doing yourself, as well as, you know, you apply stuff that you read and watch and so forth. All right, so YouTube is actually very useful, a very useful resource, but you gotta be strict here. And when you're in this foundation, you understand this. So that's why I speak of the first foundation, because otherwise you can't be disciplined here. You can't be disciplined here to achieve this work, all right? Because you will only want to work with whatever you want to work with, instead of being professional and so forth, you know? All right, so that's also how the first foundation is connected to the second, you know? You gotta have this motivation, self-motivation, self-discipline. Otherwise it won't work, you know? It won't work. So, you know what you want to do. Now you set it in motion. You learn what you need to learn, how to start a business and so forth. So once you've mastered the first foundation, you have the second foundation. You always have something to improve, always. So if you have any problems with this, you can contact me. The email is in the video description down below, as well as in the about page, in the link, or at the main page in the link, upper right corner. All right, so we'll make a plan and we'll tailor it for you. And so if you have problems with career change, problems with life in general, for example in diet and exercise and so forth, you can contact me and we'll make this step-by-step plan, like I said, tailor it for your needs, and keep on working on yourself. All right, keep on focusing on yourself. All right, that's it. See you tomorrow.